Hey y'all, it's Ty back again with another video. Today I'm going to be cooking with you all. Today I'm making chili and I'm going to show you guys how I do it my way. There's tons of ways out there to do it, but today I'm going to be showing you how I do it. I'm just making ground turkey chili. So I'm going to make that. I'm going to show you what I use and how I put it together and all of that. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and stay tuned and I will be right back. Alright, so let me show you guys what I'm using. These are the kind of beans that I use, Goya brand red kidney beans, and it comes 16 ounces in this bag, so that's a pound. So I use those. And then I use ground turkey. This is the brand that I use, and I use 2 of these, so that's 2 pounds. I also use some crushed tomatoes. I either use diced tomatoes, which I meant to get, but I accidentally got these crushed tomatoes, so I'll use that. And I'll use a little bit of tomato sauce if I need it. So I got the tomato sauce on deck, which I might not even use. If I do, I'll use only a little bit. And I got some onion powder. Kids might be eating from this pot. I'm not really sure, but if they do, I like to leave the onions out because they don't like the chunks of onions, and I just use the onion powder instead. And I got some black pepper, salt, and Sazon seasoning. This works wonders. It adds a lot of flavor to your food. There's 2 different kinds. I'm using both of these packets. The whole packs go in. And they come in boxes like this. If you're not familiar with Sazon, this one, they have like suggestions of what you can use it for here. And then this one is more so, I guess, for meats, non-fish meats, but you can use it for fish. It adds a lot of flavor and a lot of color to your dish, so those are really good. I can't live without those. And I also be using some chicken broth. And a lot of people, when they make chili, they use the packets, the chili packets. They have chili kits and they have chili packets. I don't use those because I used to use them in the past, and I basically realized that the chili tastes a lot better without those. So I don't use those anymore. I've got a lot of compliments on my chili. People love my chili, and they didn't start loving it until I stopped using those packets. So I use everything that I just showed you. I also got some fresh garlic right here. So I just add all of that stuff into my crock pot, and then I turn on my crock pot and I just let it get hot and everything before I add the beans and the meat. And the beans are actually still cooking, so I'm not going to add those yet. Where's your pacifier? So I got the garlic in my crock pot, and I got some chicken broth. And I don't measure anything. This is not a cooking channel. I'm not a chef. I don't measure anything. I do everything by eye and according to me and my family's taste. So everything is just eyeballing. So I got the chicken broth and the crushed tomatoes. I add a whole can of crushed tomatoes. And then I take the salt and I put that in there. And everything is going to be tasted later to see if I need more of anything. Then I got the black pepper. And if I want any more garlic, I won't use any more fresh garlic. I'll use powder. But I'll have to taste it later to see if I'm going to need any of that. I'm going to add some onion powder. And then I'll add my little packet of Goya Sazon. And I really do like this one better than this one, but they both are really good and they add color and flavor to your dishes. And You would be surprised what these little packets can do, but they add a very, very nice flavor to everything, especially like soups and stews and all of that. So I got everything in there. Now I'm just gonna mix it together. And then I'm gonna turn the crock pot on. Add some more chicken broth. Ooh, splashing. Ooh, splashed on me. Okay, so I got that in there. It already smells really good. Cover that up with my top and just let it, watch out my mice, watch out. Cover it up with my top, and I'm just gonna let it come to a simmer, and then I'm gonna add my beans and my meat in there, and I'm gonna let it simmer. So I will be back when I'm ready to add my beans and my meat. Alright, so my beans are cooking. I don't cook my beans all the way because I'm going to put them in the crock pot and let everything simmer for an hour and 30 minutes. So I'm not going to fully cook my beans, and you know, I don't want them to get overcooked in the crock pot when they're simmering. So I make sure I don't overcook everything, you know. So including this ground turkey, I don't want to overcook that either, so I'm just going to brown it, you know, and then it's going to go into the crock pot and simmer with everything else. So right now that's what I'm doing. Okay, so now that my crock pot is somewhat hot, it's not boiling yet, but it's hot enough for me to go ahead and put in my beans and meat. I have it in the pan right here. I combine my kidney beans and my meat together so I can see. Sometimes you may have too much beans for your meat, so I want everything to be nice in proportion, but I also want a little more beans than I have meat. So I combined it and I look at it and I add more beans or don't put as much if needed to be. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put all of the beans and the meat in here, and I'm just gonna put the top on this and just let it simmer for an hour and 30 minutes. So let me just go ahead and finish doing this. And I apologize for the baby crying in the background. She's really fussy. She had a long night last night, and I think she's tired, but she could be teething, which I definitely do think she is, because she only has 2 teeth and she'll be 13 months on January 18th. And she's been rubbing her gums on the railing of her crib. So I put some baby Orajel on her gums, and I'm out of baby Tylenol, so I need to go and get some baby Tylenol for her pretty soon. And she's really clingy. I feel like ever since I found out, well no, not ever since, but ever since I became pregnant, I feel like she's very clingy and just wanting to be under me and stuff. I can't do anything. I can't even go to the restroom. So that's how bad it is. So I fed her, changed her, and I put some Orajel on her gums, and she's in her crib right now. But yeah, she's very clingy. And that was one of the signs of the pregnancy because she was acting really clingy. I'm like, that's weird. And then she started doing things like walking and talking and everything early. So everybody kept saying, you know, she's probably moving out the way for the next one. And I was like, no, no, no. But then when I, you know, as time went on, I realized, hey, maybe they're right. And I checked, and sure enough, that's what it was. And I do believe in that stuff. I do believe they do move out the way for the next, if that's what's going on. But hopefully her clinginess gets, you know, I don't know, hopefully it gets better where the baby gets here, because she's going to be, I'm going to give her attention and everything, of course, but it's going to be worse because she's going to see me caring for the baby, and she's going to feel really bothered by that a little bit, you know. So I just have to be careful. Okay, so that's all the beans, and that's all the meat in there. You guys can see it a little bit. This is not even gonna last a week. It's gonna last very close to a week. So I would say it's gonna last probably like 5 or 6 days. So yeah, that's that, and I'm gonna let it simmer for an hour and 30 minutes, and as it's simmering, it's gonna become thick and everything. Right now it's a little watery, but it's gonna get thick on its own. I don't need to use any thickeners or cornstarch or anything. It's gonna get thick by itself. And then I'm going to taste it, and I'm going to see if I need to add anything and all that good stuff. And we'll be back. Alright, so I had my chili boiling for, not boiling, but simmering for an hour and 30 minutes. And like I said, I didn't need to add anything to thicken it up because it's already gotten thick from simmering. So it's perfect now, and I put some in my bowl. You can serve this, see it's gotten thick, you can see. You can serve this with cheese, sour cream, or if you're like me, you don't really need any of that. You just like to use some hot sauce. So I got some Texas Pete, and sometimes I like it even spicier, so I'll go ahead and use a serrano pepper or jalapeno pepper, the fresh ones, and I'll just bite it with that. Or I'll use ghost pepper sauce. So I'm unable to eat really spicy like I normally or like I used to because of the pregnancy, so I just gotta stick with Texas Pete. And if I do use the ghost pepper sauce, I'll probably just use a little bit of that. And this chili, I've already tasted it. I just added a little bit more. I add pepper, and that's it. Everything else was fine. The seasoning was fine. Everything was fine. It's perfect. And I got some chicken wings and a biscuit that I got from Popeyes that I'm gonna be eating with that. The only thing I'm missing is corn on the cob. When I was growing up, my mom used to serve corn and hot water cornbread when she made her chili, and that's perfect. But this chili is so good. It's very inexpensive, easy to make, not a whole bunch of ingredients goes into it, and it's perfect. And I made a really big pot. Like I said, I used 2 pounds of ground turkey, and I used like 1 pound and some change of the red beans. So Yeah, this is probably, it's probably gonna last less than a week. Like I said though, it's probably gonna last like 6 days, because it's gonna be getting eaten every day. So yeah, it's so good though. I'm only gonna add a little tiny bit of my ghost pepper, because this stuff is really, really hot. It's no and I like my chili like with a little liquid. You see, like this. I like my chili like that consistency. To each its own. You know, this is very easy to make, but everybody has their own ways and they got their own preference of ingredients, and this is just my preference. This is what I like, and it's just so good without the chili packet. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, I will see you guys next time. Peace.